a new client walked into my office last week. She spoke Mandarin and had already fired 2 previous lawyers. Her legal issue looked straightforward on paper. During our initial consultation, getting a clear answer felt impossible. Her responses lacked any real detail. The timeline she handed me contained huge, unexplained gaps. We hit a brick wall. I decided to switch tactics and asked her a question in Mandarin. The change happened immediately. She relaxed her shoulders, slowed her speaking pace, and poured out a flood of critical context. The facts finally made sense. Our entire case strategy pivoted right there in the room. This scenario is far from uncommon. The U.S. Census Bureau estimates over 2.4 million people of Chinese origin live in the United States. A large portion of this group reports limited English proficiency. Navigating a high-stakes legal system in a second language terrifies people. They tend to clam up. The numbers back this up. According to the Pew Research Center, only 44% of foreign-born Chinese Americans are English proficient, compared with 93% of U.S.-born Chinese Americans. Zoom out further, and the picture is the same across Asian immigrant communities broadly. Just 58% of Asian immigrants speak English proficiently, against 94% of their U.S.-born counterparts. In reality, this means that more than 4 in 10 immigrants walk into a legal consultation without full command of the language in which the consultation is being conducted. Every one of those immigrants still needs a lawyer. The ones who speak their language get the call. But I know what you're thinking. Hasn't the immigration landscape shifted sharply over the past year? The answer is certainly yes, but that doesn't mean the language issue is going away. While net migration to the United States turned negative in 2025 for the first time in at least half a century, the immigration court backlog has surged to a record 1.7 million pending cases, with average wait times stretching to nearly 900 days. And despite that decline in arrivals, roughly 52 million immigrants still live and work in the United States. Those people still have cases. They still face renewals, status changes, audits, and removal proceedings, often over the course of years. In this climate, the demand for immigration legal services has not dropped. It has shifted toward defense, compliance, and long-term case management. A lawyer who speaks a client's primary language is not just a convenience. In a prolonged, high-stakes legal matter, that lawyer is the one who gets retained. Language shapes what a client is willing to tell you. A significant share of Chinese immigrants deal with limited English proficiency. This linguistic hurdle shows up in frustratingly predictable ways during a consultation. Clients shorten their explanations to save face. They leave out vital context simply because they lack the English vocabulary. They also frequently answer based on what they assume your question means. This misinterpretation creates dangerous discrepancies between their answers and the facts of the case. Flipping the conversation into the client's primary language tears down those walls. They stop frantically translating in their heads. They start communicating openly. You get fuller timelines. They are self-correcting as they speak and hand over the missing puzzle pieces you need. Solo and small firm lawyers obsess over SEO, pay-per-click ads, and local networking events to drum up business. Multilingual communities operate on a different referral engine, powered strictly by shared language and deep trust, making multilingual law firm marketing more about community presence than digital ads. These prospective clients rarely find their lawyers through a simple Google search. They ask their aunt, they message a former classmate, or they post inquiries in local community group chats. A genuinely positive and easily understood experience with an attorney who speaks their language triggers an endorsement that spreads fast. A single well-handled case unlocks an entire network of highly loyal, multi-generational referrals. It is not just Mandarin speakers either. As another example, Japanese nationals accounted for over 1.4 million non-immigrant admissions to the United States in fiscal year 2023, a nearly threefold increase from the prior year. That is a growing population of business visitors, students, and temporary workers who face the same language barriers in legal settings. Speaking Japanese in a consultation with a client from Tokyo carries the same weight as speaking Mandarin with a client from Shanghai. Immigration and family law matters rarely wrap up quickly. The path to naturalization is famously long. Immigrants from China spend nearly 8 years on average in lawful permanent resident status before naturalizing. Clients inevitably return with new needs during that waiting period. They might require renewals, family petitions, or help with unrelated business issues. Client retention for a bilingual legal practice depends entirely on communication. A client who feels thoroughly understood will stick around. A client who views every case update as a confusing and exhausting chore will jump ship the second they find a viable alternative. Your flawless legal work will save nothing in that scenario. Emotionally charged family law matters amplify this dynamic. Explaining a bitter dispute in a second language exhausts people. When a client can talk freely in the language they think in, something shifts. They stop holding back. You stop getting the edited version of events. This dynamic also makes your daily life easier. A client who grasps the procedural steps requires far less time fielding repetitive questions. So how do you tap into this market? You do not need to be fluent in another language to make your firm more accessible to immigrant clients. A few practical changes go a long way. First, treat language capability as a hard skill when hiring. When you are looking for your next paralegal or legal assistant, bilingual ability should be on the list of things you are actively looking for. California, New York, and Texas have the largest concentrations of Chinese-speaking residents, but the need is not limited to those states. I practice in Oklahoma City, and the need exists here too. Second, think about your intake process. I have had prospective clients tell me they called another firm first and hung up because nobody understood them. That call came to me instead. A bilingual person answering your phones is not overhead. It is business development. Third, show up and show your cards. Put your firm's language capabilities on your website, your Google profile, and your intake form. People search specifically for attorneys who speak their language. If you do not list it, you do not exist to them. 3 of my strongest referral sources right now are a University International Student Office, a local Chinese business network, and a community group I started showing up to about a year ago. I never ran an ad to get any of them. Show up in those spaces consistently and you become the name people trust. Make language a central component in your multilingual law firm marketing. Most attorneys I know compete on the same 3 things: experience, results, and price. That works fine until someone else offers the same 3 things cheaper. Language ability completely disrupts that dynamic. It fundamentally changes how you gather evidence, build trust, and grow a firm. If you or anyone in your office speaks another language, that is worth more than a mention in an attorney profile. Make it central to how clients find your law firm and what they feel when they walk through the door.